Hi everyone, my name is Justin Odisho, and in this Adobe Premiere Pro tutorial, I'm going to be answering Google's most searched questions in Adobe Premiere. So beginning with the top search suggestion, how to render in Premiere Pro. Now the word render can be used kind of interchangeably with export in some programs, so I'll address both things that this could be talking about. Firstly, how to export an actual video. Let's say we have all these clips on the timeline. We can just go to File, Export Media, and this will open up the export settings, and here you can render by pressing export, so to speak. So by default, it will just match whatever your clip or sequence size is, or you could choose from one of these. Like if it's for YouTube, you could do YouTube 1080p quality. Now, of course, there's so much more details that can go into understanding exporting. So I do have a full basic tutorial on how to export, which I'll link below. And for many of these top search questions, I already have addressed them in previous videos. So to save time, I'm just going to link those below if there's a certain one that you want to go more in depth on. Now, one other way that you can render in Premiere Pro is actually like rendering a preview. So in this case, you can press I on your keyboard to create an in point and move along as far as you need. Press O to create an out point. So you can see if I drag an effect onto one of these clips, Premiere is telling us this might need some rendering or buffering to preview. And if I actually press return or the enter key, it will render a video preview for us to play back smoothly and see what our effects look like. So you can see now the bar is green and we can see our effects taking place. So you can also go to sequence render in out for that. But that's basically what people probably mean by rendering is exporting, and that's another little tip for you. Next up, we have how to zoom in Premiere Pro. So there's definitely lots of different things that can be meant by zoom. One just useful tip is zooming into the panels and workspaces by using these sliders. That's pretty default in many programs. Zooming into the window preview by, instead of setting it to fit, you can set it to like 200 or 300%. So you can zoom in and see what you're working on. But I believe most people are probably saying, how do I actually zoom in on a clip? So there's a couple different types of zooms. One very basic one is just with keyframes and the scale effect. So if I'm in the effects control panel and I click this stopwatch icon to toggle animation, and then I move forward a little bit in my clip, and then I increase the scale, you can see we're zooming in. So if I play that back from those two keyframes, we get a zooming in effect. Now, obviously that's a very basic one. I do also have tutorials that I've done on my channel for a little bit more fancy zoom effects. So here's one that I have in my preset pack, which I make available on my website for sale. I do have a full tutorial on how to create this zoom in and a zoom out effect. So I'll leave a link to some more zoom effects if you want separate tutorials that go in depth on different ones. The third most searched question was how to export, which I believe we already addressed in the first point. So again, I'll leave a link to my exporting basics video. The next question is how to cut in Premiere Pro. This is a pretty basic but essential tool, and there's actually little tricks and tips I can give you with it. One, the basic cut tool is right here on the toolbar, this razor tool, and you can use that to cut clips. If you hold shift while cutting, it will cut through everything on that space in the timeline, so letting you cut through multiple things at once. Very useful. Another thing, if you want to just get right to the cut tool, a shortcut to get there is C on your keyboard is cut. Very useful when you don't want to be switching back and forth in the toolbox. C and then V gets back to your move tool. Another shortcut command you can use to cut is Shift Command K, and that will cut as well without needing to click on your mouse. And then finally, another really useful way to not necessarily only cut, but trim off a part of a clip is by using the Ripple Delete shortcuts. So if I just wanted to chop off the end of this clip here, I can cut it and then highlight and delete, or I can just use the keyboard shortcut W, which is a ripple delete everything past the timeline marker to the next clip. So that's the ripple delete right, but you can also ripple delete the other way by pressing Q on the keyboard, and it will just cut everything towards the next cut line. The next search question we have is how to crop in Premiere Pro, and there's a lot of different ways you can crop, but the effects tool does have a crop effect under the transform folder, and you can click and drag that onto whatever clip, text, or object is in your video frame, and you can crop things left, top, right, whatever you want. So on top of that, every single one of these does come with the animation options with the keyframes or masking options. But that actually leads us right into our next most searched question, is how to mask in Premiere Pro. So there is a couple different ways that you can mask. First of all, every single effect that you add comes with its own masking options. So for example, if I was working on this clip here and I added a Gaussian blur and crank that Gaussian blur up, I can actually mask this blur so that it only blurs on a certain section of the mask. So here you have options to create a ellipse mask or a 4-point square or rectangular mask, or you can free draw a mask with the pen tool. So just for example, I will grab this 4-point mask, and now we have a mask for the blur. So it only blurs on the area that it's masked. And then you can adjust the points, you can adjust the mask feather or size, and you can even animate the mask with keyframes. So wherever you see the option to create these masks under many different settings in the effects control panel, you're able to do that. For example, under the opacity of the clip in general, you can create a mask, so you can layer masks on top of each other. And if you don't see the ability to edit them, just make sure you're in the program window and not the reference window. So now I have a mask just on the clip in general. So although the masking tools aren't as robust as they are in something like Adobe After Effects, where you can kind of use computer tracking to find outlines and rotoscoping, you can create some pretty cool stuff with masking, and it can come in handy in some functional cases as well. So I'll leave a link to some different masking tutorials that I've done with some cool effects. Next up, we have how to nest a clip. So when you nest a clip, let's say I've made a bunch of cuts and chops on a bunch of different sections, put an edit together just how I like, but I want to organize those all together so I can move and edit them at once. If I highlight all these clips and right click, I can actually choose to nest these clips together, and I can give my nest a name, so I'll just leave it at the default. And you'll see now it becomes nested sequence 1. It also creates a new object in the project media bin. So now I can move this around as its own object despite all the intricate little cuts and effects in it. And I can also chop it down even more and edit it together. And if you want to go into that nested sequence and rearrange some stuff in the original sequence, you can just double click the clip that was created in the project media bin. It will open in another tab in your timeline window. And in here, you can see everything that's in that nested sequence. So this goes right into how to unnest something. There's not necessarily a right click and unnest feature. And you can also nest things together, like multi-nest things together. So how do you unnest? Well, you can actually just drag the clip back out and it will unnest. And you can drag nested sequences back in the timeline as their original selves. Or you can go into a nested sequence, copy everything, and paste it where you need over whatever you need. Now, mind you, even if you unnested in that method, what you had nested before is still in your project media bin, available for you to use later down in the project if you want, or you can just delete it if you no longer want it at all. Coming up on our next search here, we have how to stabilize in Premiere Pro. This can actually be very useful. Let's say I'm recording this clip, but since I'm walking side to side, you can see it's a little bit wobbly. If we actually go to the effects panel and search for one called Warp Stabilizer, Premiere does come built in with this stabilization effect tool. So I can just click and drag this on to an appropriate clip where there's some motion that can be detected, and Premiere will start analyzing your clip. This may take a while, so you just have to give it time. You can see here it says 20 seconds remaining or 299 frames remaining. And once it's done analyzing, you should see it starts saying stabilize. And now we have a stabilized clip. So it is a lot smoother, but you can see some artifacts and distortions that happen if the clip is too shaky. I have another tutorial all about the different details about Warp Stabilizer, so I'll link to that video if you want to get more in depth. Speaking back to nesting, a lot of times Premiere Pro will not be able to do certain things, like You can't warp stabilize a clip that has speed and duration adjustments. And you can see warp stabilizer and speed can't be used on the same clip. If you nest something first, it kind of acts as a fresh clip in Premiere's eyes, and then you can add whatever you want on top of it and it will begin working. Lastly, we have how to fade in Premiere. This is a pretty simple one. If you actually just right click and apply default transition, the default transition is a cross dissolve. So if you cross dissolve into nothing, it will fade to black. You can adjust the length of that. Another shortcut to do that, if it is your default transition, is just by pressing Command D, and that'll fade. Or if you want to cross dissolve between clips, you can do that as well. You can also fade any effect really, just by using keyframes. So if I want to fade the opacity of this clip, I can start at 100 and then move forward and lower it down to 0, and I'll get a fade. If I want to fade the strength of any effect, I can start at 100%, whatever the effect is, and lower it down to 0. So those are the top 10 most searched questions of how to in Adobe Premiere in Google. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like on it below, subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of my future videos, and check out the links in the description for more in-depth on certain points. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.